Good morning. My name is Leslie Hipp. I currently teach in the Cleveland County School District. I started last year leaving special ed to teach art because I live in this district. It's literally, I share a property line with the school, and I was just trying to get my foot in the door with art. And I actually love teaching art, but special education is my passion. My son is, he's 13, but he functions at 12 to 18 months cognitively. So it's very important for me to have someone that is a good leader overall, not just for special education. My goal is to hopefully become an LEA for special education. It's an admin position. I do have military experience. I was in my junior year of high school, I joined the Army on the delayed entry program. So they put me with the Reserve unit at Camp Robinson in Little Rock. So every weekend of my senior year, I was learning how to be a soldier. I injured my knee running track my senior year, and I was medically separated. If I would have known, I would have wavered and gone to a different branch. But then I became a civilian employee of the Marine Corps. So I have been around strong leaders my entire life. And this school year has started off very chaotic. I prepared all summer to teach art. They had an opening in the special education department. I was like, look, I'm available. I want this job. If you need me, I'm here. Then there was another availability that came open in June. And again, I stepped forward and said, hey, I would love to do this. And they were like, we're interviewing. So we were told that the person that they hired is from the Philippines and that he would not be here until December. And that was going to be our special education teacher. With special education, there are timelines, there's data collection, there's, DLM testing. There's so many moving parts that someone without special education knowledge would not know about. And there would be so many things that would not be done, and it would open our district up to a federal lawsuit. So, and also my son is in that classroom, and my son is currently on hospice care. He's very medically complicated, and we were hospitalized for 2 weeks earlier during the year at 2 separate points in time, and it was an awful experience, and it's just traumatic for my son, and we're not doing that again. So he is on hospice care. If it gets to the point that he has to go back to the hospital, we're not going to go. But one thing that I learned from being in the military and working as a civilian for the military is poor planning does not create an emergency on my part. And I had to push our leadership last week or week before last when we were all in PD to, hey, what are we doing about the special ed position? What are we doing? What are we doing? And finally, Wednesday of last week, they're like, oh, well, I can put a sub in the art room, put you over here. I'm like, well, do it. So I literally just, it's the lack of strategic planning for me. Before I became a teacher, I was in human resources. That's my son buzzing if you can hear him. So it's, manage the chaos before the chaos manages you. Poor planning does not create an emergency. So that's what I'm seeing and I'm feeling, and I'm starting the school year off frustrated because of the lack of compassion that I'm seeing. There were some issues with the special education building, and I have nonverbal students, and 2 of them are on the ground, and I needed a door sweep. And they're like, well, we have snakes in the building every year, and there's spiders and bugs everywhere too. Just got to deal with it. I can't be in a classroom where a kid can get bit by a spider and he can't tell me he was bitten so that I can notify the parents. I can't be in a classroom where a child could encounter a snake and has no ability to tell me, hey, there's a snake. Okay, off the soapbox. So my goal is to eventually become a special education LEA. And lead special education. Inclusion's coming. We're going to need good, strong leaders that are going to lead the charge. And I am a lead by doing. I'm not a lead by telling person. So I want to show people, look, I'm doing this the same as you, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it together, and we're going to plan everything as accordingly as possible so there aren't any surprises. As for any person that I can interview in history, I would probably think Marilyn Monroe. She was a leader in her own right. She was a trailblazer. You know, a lot of people, it's the blonde bimbo image, but she was incredibly smart. And when she started getting kind of typecast into those roles where that's the only character they wanted her to play, she created her own production company and started developing her own scripts and movies that she wanted to do so she could control her career and how she was being treated, and started controlling her own contracts and her own movie deals. So I feel she was a very interesting leader. I also love Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, so much, again, another actor, but his patience and his calmness and coolness and how he was collected, you know, even after he was shot and he was given the speech in Germany and the balloon popped and it sounded like a gunshot, you know, he didn't react and he didn't show that. He just, you know, missed me and kept on going. So I admire that very much about Ronald Reagan, as well as a lot of his policies and how he strategically handled things. So that is what I'm looking forward to getting out of this supervision class. I'm also currently working on my Master's of Ed and SPED. My undergraduate degree is from Park University in Missouri. It's a Bachelor's of Science in Social Psychology, which I mainly use in special education. I just finished my MAT in Gen Ed. I started my MAT in special ed, but between all of my son's hospitalizations, prior to making the decision this summer to place him on hospice, I wasn't able to finish that. So I needed 4 more classes and I was done with that one. So I was like, let me just go the Gen Ed route and see what I can do. So I finished that. I accomplished that. My degree was just conferred. I'm very happy about that, but starting a new journey in Masters of Ed and SPED, I'll finish that one first. So I'll be finishing this one in summer of 25, I believe, if I looked at everything correctly on how I got everything going. So again, Leslie Hipp, I'm very looking forward to class, and I'm very looking forward to becoming a leader that is a planner. Thank you.